this morning, I'll be looking at it from three key perspectives. I think the better approach is to look at the theory, right, around concept modeling because the natural tendency is for us to just pick up a tool and then we'll start drawing or we'll start creating concept. But behind this creative act, as for every other creative act, there are always some form of theory, some things that drives, what you do. So therefore, this morning, I'm going to come from that perspective of what exactly is concept modeling? Why is concept modeling important? What are the um, theory around it? And now, this theory I'm coming up with, it's something that I had to reflect on based on my consistent use of Draw.io and other concept modeling tools. So I asked myself if I need to put this together and try to teach people how to create different concepts. What are the things that I think they need to know before just launching out into using those tools? So we're going to come from that theoretical background, look at putting a structure around that theory, and finally we go into the use of Draw.io as a tool. I'm particularly interested in Draw.io because it's free and it has a lot of functionalities. I'm also going to show you some interesting, models that I've been able to create within the last 1 year of joining DMU. So I'm not even going to bring in some of the models I created while in the industry. So I'm just going to show you to motivate you and just to let you know that there is so much more that you could do with Draw.io as a modeling tool. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do this together using some tags, activities, and breakout rooms. So please, I'll be happy if you can stop me at any point to ask questions using your microphone this time around. But then if you're unable to use your microphone, you can also just put in the a note in the chat area. And I hope that Angela will be able to call my attention to that one way or the other. So let us start concept modeling, the very first part. Now, so what we intend to cover specifically, we want to describe what concept modeling is and why it's important in systematic research or empirical research. We want to advance the principles and tricks of concept modeling. And finally, we'll describe the capabilities of Draw.io as a free web platform for creating concept diagrams, and we'll demonstrate how to create pictorial representation of a concept or an idea. So I think the very first starting point is to understand what a concept is. So, what is a concept? What is a concept? What is a concept? I know that question might get you thinking. So, what is a concept? We've been talking about concept modeling, but what exactly is a concept? Now, a concept is simply, ideas, thoughts, consideration. Concept really, in its basic form, they are intangible, meaning you can't see them. You can't, so they reside in your mind, as somebody that is creating the concept. So the first place that the concept starts from really starts as thoughts, starts as ideas, starts as some consideration. But in order to be able to share um, this idea, which lies around your domain of interest. So if you're a software developer, you're trying to create a system, it starts from the realm of thought and then it's within your area of interest. Now, you now need to be able to pass that across or share that with other people. In doing that, that's where the modeling comes from. So you want to present that thought, that idea, that consideration in a way that conveys meaning, so in a meaningful way, and not just only conveying meaning, you also want to inspire some form of action. So I've got this idea, I've got this model, in my mind, and I want to share it with somebody. Maybe I want to share it with my audience, with fellow researchers. I want to share it in a conference. I want to share it with my boss. But not just conveying meaning, I also would like to inspire action, because the reason for sharing an idea is so that somebody will do something about that idea. So again, that is the entire concept, the entire um, idea around that concept modeling. And if we're going to give an example, we see that example of this exists everywhere. You might want to model your research question into some form of theoretical framework. You might want to model your research findings into some theoretical framework. It could even be a mind map. What you've got in your mind. You want to model it, you want to draw it, you want to present it in a way that will convey meaning and inspire action. So if I'm going to provide some form of definition of what a concept model is simply a visual representation that clarifies the concept. And you remember that we already defined concept as ideas, as something that exists in the mind, for both the thinker and the audience. So we've got the keyword here, the thinker and the audience. So the audience is the people you're trying to pass this across to. And it is a powerful tool for everyone that needs to communicate complexity. So, and you agree with me that as researchers, we communicate complexities every day. So therefore, it just means that this tool is something that is important for us to have. And I think more than being a tool is actually a skill. So you could have the tool, but lack the ability to make proper use of that tool. And then again, it's not about the tool, it's the ability to be able to create that concept and then use the tool to present it. So the tool enhances your ability to make that presentation. All right. And so, why is it important? It helps you to tell a story and even tell the story better. Okay, it offers multiple perspectives. So the idea is, if you are able to create a concept or model a concept, um, from your own perspective, there are a lot of possibility that somebody looking at that concept might even be able to understand it better and share another perspective that you have not even looked at. So concept modeling allows you to see a concept from different perspective, or see an idea from different perspective. It validates your thoughts and ideas. So if you got this idea and then you put it in a model, you put it in a graphical format or in a visual format, you're able to visualize it, then it validates. When you look at it closely, it allows you to see the gaps in your thinking or in your thoughts, and then that concept allow you to even go back and look at your idea and close that gaps. I mean, I've experienced this a lot of times. So when I um visualize my idea or my thoughts, it helps me to think more about the idea and then close some gaps that I would not have seen, just reading through the text or thinking about that idea over and over again. It offers clarity and originality, so even if you have 2,000 words, 5,000 words, by the time you put it in, the way we present ideas differs. So there's this likelihood that we write in similar way or similar pattern or similar manner. But when it comes to graphical or visual presentation, because it's right on our bias nature, on our experience. Okay, so you find that you are able to create something that is more original when you approach it from the point of visualization, concept modeling, diagram, than you do when you approach it by writing text or by talking about it. And again, it offers clarity. Now, it is a transdisciplinary approach, which means that this is not limited to one particular discipline. It also allows you to see how there are handshakes between different disciplines and how they fit in together. And I think this skill cannot be overemphasized in this age and time when you see that there's a lot of integration between different fields and discipline, and this is happening every day. I mean, and we even see that this is even getting more and more relevant by the day. And finally, for students or people that like to review papers and all that, research has it that examiners and reviewers, they read your test from your models. So when you have a research paper or you have your dissertation and you've got diagrams in there, the likelihood is that they go look at your diagram first, and then your diagram or your visualization help them to understand the test. As a matter of fact, some of them may not even read through the test at all, when you've got very good visualization. So they look at it and then they be able to make meaning and ask questions from that visualization. So these are just some of the reasons why I think that concept modeling is something that we need to um, take a very good look at. Now, the uses of concept models. You can use it for creating conceptual framework. You can use it to describe your research approach. You can use it to describe your problem domain and how entity interacts. And when I talk about entity now, deeply, I'm talking about constructs. So, you've got different variables, you've got different constructs, especially when you're trying to present an idea. So you want to see how this entity, how they interact, how they relate, clearly. So concept model allow you to be able to do that um, easily. Again, it also helps in presenting theories and literature. Literature is an interesting aspect of research, so you have to put up different arguments, different perspectives from different people, and it could really, really be daunting when you are putting this together in words, especially when you're working on researches that speaks to um, literature review, systematic literature review, especially. So you want to be able to create diagram and visualization that helps you to to put those theories and literature together and explain it better. Architectures and designs, yeah, this is also important, especially for people in construction like areas. Somebody like me that's been into software development for a long time. So it allows you to be able to create some architecture, look at the systems, different systems and different components of systems. You've got enterprise system where you also could have soft systems and how those soft systems interact with one another. So the concept model allows you to be able to do that easily. It also provides solutions. I mean, allows you to put forward your systems and your solution. Are we still together? I just want to be sure if you're still with me. Hello.
Hello, I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, same here, Abby.
Thank you. Sometimes this might really look like a monologue, so you just wonder I'm talking to myself. So once in a while, I'll I'll try to do this so that I'm sure that I'm not alone. All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate. So now this is this is a picture of a guy, and he's saying I have concept models in my head, and I think this might represent a lot of us. I've got this model in my head, but I struggle to create a visual model of this concept. Now, it's not that I only struggle, I really can't figure how to represent the components of the concept. So, how do I represent the concept, the components of the concept? How do I pull them together? Now, the tools I have, they are not flexible enough, or the flexible ones are expensive. For instance, some of us seems to be limited to the use of Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint in that presentation in creating visual models. So the idea is, how do I navigate this interesting environment where I've got good idea, but I struggle to present that idea. And I'm wondering, I mean, even till now, this used to be me. So this actually might be you. But then again, concept modeling is a creative act, and this is where I'm coming from. So, irrespective of what the problems are, whether this represents you, which I think, concept modeling is a creative act. And because it's a creative act, you can learn it. So, you really don't need to think, oh, no, this is not for me, since I don't even know, I don't have an idea how to put it together, then perhaps I just need to get somebody to do it for me. Yeah, well, you may, but at some point you might really need to find a way of putting it. And I think that's the reason why we are all here. You've made that effort to be here because you feel that this can be learned and you really want to learn it. And peradventure, you already have some of the skill. Now it can also be developed. So it means that we could do more, to enhance that skill. And I must say that for each concept that you're able to model, you get better, at doing it. Yeah, is somebody, I don't know, is there a chat? Is there hands raised up? Okay, I guess somebody just entered the room. All right, thank you. So I've got this first activity, and I will really have love if we're able to do this in a breakout room. But if we are not, I'm going to Angela. Are we able to do?
Yes, I'm here. Did you want me to set up the breakout rooms now?
Yes, so that we'll have about three have three persons in each room, and then they could have a conversation around these tasks or reflect on these tasks. So I would like you to think about a diagram or a model that you created some time ago. What is the purpose? What tool did you use? How satisfied were you with the diagram or with the model? Now, what do you think you could have done better? So these are just questions that I want you to reflect on and talk about.
What's 17 divided by 3? 5, 6.
So they may not actually be if we were not even number, you could just divide the breakout room in any way you think it's fine. I just want us to have some reflection on these questions. And then after this takes us to the second aspect of this, and this is going to look